welcome back at Party.San. You already played here years ago, I guess 2015. Do you have any memories about that night left?
They're all gone.
It was a really good show. It was the first batch of shows we started playing since I joined the band. So I think we did about 13 shows around that time. And it was one of the, it was in the first batch, I think, wasn't it? So it was really great. It was, I mean, it's always a good place to play anyway. So it's good fun.
Yeah, we enjoy the pyro, the flames, and the stuff like that ain't cheap.
Yeah.
We got it for free, so.
Nice. And in the meantime, you released a new album and also a split with AUTOPSY, where AUTOPSY covered a Bloodbath song, but it's not Bloodbath your band. It's like a thrash metal band from an old thrash metal band from the guitarist of AUTOPSY.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It kind of gets complicated when you think about it, because it's basically a lot of Bloodbath involved in one release there. We covered, a Cancer song, which is a death metal band from the UK. That's our association with Bloodbath, and their association is, as you said, one of their old members' first band was called Bloodbath. So somehow it just clicked. Yeah. And being old fans of AUTOPSY, we just thought it was going to be really cool to make a little split underground 7-inch like that. So yeah, it's a cool release.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But did you know before that there is that this Bloodbath band from the guitarist from AUTOPSY? Did you knew that before?
Never heard them. Just knew the name. Just knew about the history that one of the guys, I think it was Danny Corrales or something. Yeah. That he had that. But I think it was like really early, like almost hardcore thrashy kind of sound to it. But that's all cool. I haven't heard it, but our thing on the whole EP was more on the Cancer thing, So, yeah.
Okay. And another band that you once said in interviews influenced you a lot is MORBID ANGEL. Is that right?
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
We have that 30th anniversary of the Altars of Madness this year. Do you remember when you listened to the album for the first time?
Yeah, I remember buying it and thinking it was a little bit too fast for me at the time. Same thing happened when I listened to Slayer for the first time in '86 or something. But then I grew to totally love this album. I think it's maybe the best death metal album of all time.
Yeah, definitely one of the best. Was it the first record you bought, the first death metal record, or do you have any?
No, but it was one of the first really extreme death metal records that I bought. So it made a big impression on me back then in 90 or 89 it was, I think.
89.
Yeah.
No, the same. I think probably me and Jonas back then, if I bought an album, I made a cassette up for him or he made one for me, so we kind of discovered all this together. And especially with Altars of Madness, I think that was, as Jonas said, probably the death metal album that got the biggest impact with everybody. Yeah. It just set off this big avalanche of, it really took us from, we were really into thrash metal and stuff like that at the time, but it really pushed us over into death metal, like really pushing us over the border. I think that album did that,
Cool.
Didn't the Terrorize album come out at a similar time?
Yeah, it's very close,
Because they sound very similar as well. Yeah, I remember they were very close.
Could be back to back, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, it was similar time. Yeah.
True, yeah. And
sorry.
okay. How did you perceive the development of MORBID ANGEL as a band, because they changed their sound, and also the death metal scene in general, because also there we have a lot of new subgenres, a lot of new technologies. How do you perceive all that?
It's a cliche, but I was into MORBID ANGEL when they were on demos before, and I knew they were going to get big because they were clearly always exciting to hear what they were going to do. I think just the attitude, the image, everything about them, it just fit, and it was the right time, the right place. And was it ihre they went on to? Yeah, Dig picked them up, and it was just. I think just Trey's playing and the nice kind of guitar style really set a pace as well, because it's quite unique how he plays. And obviously the drumming, no one could drum like that at that time. No one. There was blast beat but it wasn't played as well as he could do it. Sandy Bill could do it. So it was a pretty exciting time because it was a new subgenre coming out.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I was always into like Possessed and because I'm a few years older than these guys, so I was into that. But then that kind of brought it to a bigger level, I think, when Morbid Angel released that album in particular,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Morbid Angel is probably, if I just have to pick one band out of every death metal band, I will pick them. I enjoy their whole career, basically, up until, well, recently. Kind of lost track, but all the years with David Vincent, I consider them to be the prime band of death metal, basically. You know, I think David Vincent is probably one of the best death metal vocalists of our time. And Trey's playing is just twisted, sounds like his riffs coming backwards and the drumming and everything. It's just ferocious. It's killer death metal band, legendary history. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree. So I think they have made their mark pretty clear in history what they were all about. Yeah.
Okay, and coming back to Bloodbath, in which relation do Bloodbath and Katatonia stand for you personally? I mean, you said that in the beginning Bloodbath was more like a fun project, a tribute project, and now you're headlining big festivals.
Yeah, it got a little out of hand. No, but I mean, prior to what Katatonia sounds like today, we grew up with death metal. It was the kind of music that made us want to be musicians in the first place. So this music has such a deep sort of impact on us. So even though Katatonia went on to do something else, this music, of course, stayed with us because it's so timeless. And if you're into death metal for real, I think you will be your whole life. So it's not a problem for us to separate the two. Only that maybe Bloodbath got a little bit more busy than we would ever expect, because it was began as a tribute. Back in '98, death metal was not really popular at the time. Black metal was doing well, symphonic black metal stuff. So we just wanted to do this to prove that, and to say that this music is not dead. And it proved to be popular, and we're very happy about it.
I totally agree. Everything Jonas said, I mean, I share the same opinion. We're still doing it because it's fun, first of all, as well. I mean, that's the whole key point of doing Bloodbath. It's. I wouldn't say like people shouldn't think it's an easier job, because it's a lot of hard work as well. But it's more fun in a way, because it's a lot of all the with our main bands, PL, Katatonia. There's a lot of. I mean, we have a longer history with those bands, and we have more things to consider. There's a lot more business in those aspects, and we have a sound to nurture and everything like that. But with Bloodbath, we can do whatever we want. We can change from album to album. Don't give a fuck, really, because it's just fun. That's what we do.
So you feel kind of free with that also, then?
Total freedom. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it at all. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe last question. Any future plans so far for Bloodbath?
The plan is to play more live, as we do right now. We're doing a lot of festivals this summer, because we had an album out in October, I think. We did a small tour also in last December, which was the first tour we ever did. So it's getting a little bit more busy with every release, I think, but we still want to keep it on a level which is not taking over anything from our main bands. So we're just trying to squeeze in as many gigs as we can do. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Then thank you for taking the time.
Cheers,